So you want a lifestyle business that runs just 4 hours a week. I built my supplement brand to over 2 million in sales on this principle because when I was trying to leave my 9 to 5, my boss at the time, James Blackwell, handed me a book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. That book changed my life. It showed me that it was possible to build a recurring business that pays you whilst you sleep with high margin and that can scale easily without much effort, and you can run it remotely from anywhere in the world. I'd go as far as to say that book changed my life so much that I want to give everything away I know for free so you can apply it to your own business and life. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to strip everything down and show you behind the scenes of how to copy this for yourself. Now, I'm going to be honest. This video is for you if you already have product market fit, you're generating some sales and you want to work remotely, anywhere, anytime. But if you're just starting out and you want to copy everything I know to build your own business, I made a separate video. You can click the first link in the description. With that being said, let's get straight into the simple system I adapted from Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek to make $50K a month while working less than 4 hours a week. It's called the Deal Framework, and I'll jump straight into it in my computer to run you through it. So as promised, here is the framework. You can read the 4-Hour Workweek. I'm pretty sure it's free out there in a PDF, but if not, I'm going to shortcut everything for you. I'm just going to break down this framework for you step by step. So lovely, Shopify screenshot. Now, the first one is D is for define in this instance. And you have a little bit of an inkling of what my vision board looks like, so you can see the glimpse into Lou Antonio's mind. But basically what I'm looking for here is we have to start with a clear definition of what we're optimizing for. So your deepest desires, fears, like having very clear set goals, but just remember like understanding the costs as well, like financially, emotionally, physically, like what do you actually want your life to look like? And I imagine it's probably not being rich but then sick at an old age. It's not following the script and building someone else's brand, selling or exchanging your time for money to end up in a retirement when all of the best years of your life are gone. Probably not, okay? I assume the reason you're watching this video is because you want to have a lifestyle brand or business that pays you 24/7, 365 without you having to work hard. Now, don't get me wrong, you have to work hard enough to not have to work hard in the beginning, but ultimately a goal without a plan is just a wish. And I want you to get clear on this. If we are not clearly defined on what we are optimizing for, you're never going to get there, right? So just think, are you wanting to build a $100 million exit, like a proper performance business? Or do you want to build more of a lifestyle muse, which was what Tim Ferriss talks about? Because the actions, the decisions that you take from here are going to be completely different. Like for me, speaking personally, I wanted a cash flow vehicle that liberated me from my 9 to 5 at the time. It ideally solved the problem I cared about. And ideally, again, it gives you the trifecta of time, location, financial freedom. But we're doing it while still building equity in a scalable brand. So if you are just getting started, just be very clear on this, because if you want a lifestyle brand, you're probably not going to be posting, 10, 20, 30K days. You're going to be posting more like, 1 to 2K, because the objective is different. But again, it's a bit of a rite of passage. And you can always convert a lifestyle brand into a performance business at some stage. But just be very clear on what you're optimizing for, because this does it does impact your workflow. Okay, next. This is the interesting part, because it's all about time management. Now, the reason this E is for eliminate is because outside of the structure of a normal 9 to 5 job, you do not have someone telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what to wear, when to go to the bathroom, when you can take lunch, when to take holidays. You have to be able to make these decisions independently alone. And sometimes it can be quite difficult if you're used to having a boss. Now, when you're running your own business or you're the captain of your own ship, you have everything to do, especially at the start, because if you don't do the work, nothing's going to get done for you. And yes, there's a lot of skill acquisition, but what you have to do over time is you have to learn to strategically eliminate tasks that are not high value. So for example, I categorize my tasks into low IGT and high IGT. IGT stands for income generating tasks. So for me, a low value task would be customer service. That would then go out to an outsourced rep, or picking and packing, which I did in the early days. I think I have a picture here. So this picture is literally genuinely from my kitchen back in 2015. I was doing everything myself. Again, that gets outsourced. It's eliminated from my time, and it's sent over to a 3PL to do the management. Now, when you're starting, like especially if there's just 1 or 2 of you running the business, like you only want to focus on what's essential. And Tim Ferriss talks about this quite a lot in the book. He talks about the Pareto principle, which is also known as the 80-20 rule. And the principle here is that 20% of your efforts will yield 80% of the results. And if you look into maths and science and nature, you find these same numbers repeat themselves quite a lot. So the key is if you can double down on the efforts that are driving the bulk of your results, this is what's going to allow you to understand, okay, how do I apportion and spend my time? Because remember, we all have the same amount of hours in the day. If there's only one or two of you, you have a lot of moving parts. So you need to understand, okay, what's actually directly revenue generating? And this is where your time goes. And the rest gets eliminated, okay? It's the same inverse 80-20 of 20% of your work will lead to 80% of your problems, basically, okay? And what you want to do, you want to be able to eliminate these problems, like as much of this work as possible. But this is a bit of a rite of passage. When you're starting out, you can't do this. You need to be revenue generating. One of my other mentors also told me that when the time is right to hire, the principle you want to think about is hire where it hurts, which means it's okay for you to do things and double down and be hustling and grinding in the start. But the second it becomes a bane on your time and you find yourself falling more into these low income generating tasks, this is your time to outsource. If you do it before, it's a problem because let's just use the example of maybe even like hiring an agency for something. If you don't fully understand what needs to be done, what good looks like, it's very easy for people, agencies to run circles around you, particularly so if you are literally speaking a different language, if they know all these technical terms, AOV, LTV, just throwing a couple out there that you don't understand, CTR, conversion rate. There's hundreds of them. And you need to be able to understand, at least at a fundamental level, what good looks like before you can then go outsource and delegate. And all of the important work needs to stay under your remit. Everything that is unessential, you can eliminate. Because remember, if you're looking to emulate what I'm doing and work 4 hours a week, can I do everything? Yes. Do I want to be doing everything? Absolutely no. I know where my focus is, and my focus is on looking for asymmetric returns. So what's the small input that gets me, again, the 20% that gives me the 80% on the back end? But you don't know this when you're starting out. So again, it's a bit of a rite of passage. Now, the other side to this is applying what is called Parkinson's law. Now, Parkinson's law basically dictates that work will expand to fill the time available for its completion. So this is about you managing your time efficiently. I'm trying to think of a good example for this for you, like Parkinson's law. I think I was given the example, if you're at university or college and you have 6 months to do an assignment, it will take you 6 months to do the assignment. Whereas if I say, okay, you have 3 days to do the assignment, the work is the same, but because your time horizon is compressed, you work a lot harder, you stay a lot focused. That's probably a better example than the other one. But again, the point is you need to be able to manage your time efficiently, and you're basically artificially constraining the time to get things done. This is how you move fast. This is how you compress a 12-month plan into a week plan, because it is possible. You just need to apply leverage. And again, this comes back down to 80-20 of understanding how your time, attention, and energy is dispersed. It needs to be towards a high income generating task, because if not, the minutiae, other people's problems, doing this, solving that, moves you away from the actual needle moving activities. And this is what keeps you small and it keeps you stuck. This is when the business owns you as opposed to you owning the business. And I'm speaking from personal experience because I spent a lot of time there and it is not fun. A third thing, which no one really talks about, is having a low information diet. So this is about being very intentional and selective about the types of information that you're receiving. For example, if you go onto my Twitter, I don't have my phone, let's just do it real time, right? Phone, haven't unlocked it, right? I'm literally just going to go in, I'm going to open Twitter, okay? Not going to be any porn on here, it's all Ecom stuff, okay? Landing page stuff, okay? Now this, instead of me watching the news or watching Home and Away or Coronation Street, the general consensus here is that it's all going to be Ecom focused. Now, if you're watching the news, if you are watching your friends go to parties and drink, this is what's going to be in your field, which means where attention goes, energy flows and results show. So you need to have a very selective information diet where the only thing you're consuming is in direct relation to whatever it is that you're optimizing for. If you're watching the news, and I sometimes get a lot of hate for this, but I don't care, because they will call you uninformed or I'm just generally not a good citizen, but I'm focused on controlling my controllables. If I'm getting sucked into negativity and things happening on the other side of the world that don't directly impact me and that I don't have a direct sphere, it's outside of my sphere of influence, it's not worth my time. I'd far rather my time was focused on growing my brand, getting financially free, because guess what? Once I've amassed enough cash, if I want to have some sort of political sway, I have the resources to do that if once my network's proliferated. But right now, if you're stuck, if you're working a 9 to 5, or if you're trapped in your business, you got to stack cash. At that point, then it's okay to do it. But again, it's all in this field. We only have, like, your aperture generally is quite broad, but I want you to bring it narrow. We need to focus on whatever, exactly what we said at the start. We're defining, we understand what the definition is. Everything needs to be in alignment with that definition, because if it's outside of it, you're going to get distracted. You're going to get pulled into tasks that aren't conducive, or family's going to ask you, or can you do this, or can you take us there, or what about this, again, it's just pulling you away. Remember, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but the thing we don't have, like, it's our most valuable non-renewable asset is our time, okay? The second part to that is our attention. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. So you need to be able to control that, okay? And this is, again, all part of this elimination framework where you are solely focused. Remember, we're trying to run a business on 4 hours a week. If you're doing everything, you're not applying leverage to the situation. It's impossible to do that. And this is why most people look at me and say, how can you do that? It's not possible. It is possible. It's all leverage. I understand my high income generating tasks. I have staff. I'm delegated. I'm outsourced. I'm automated. And this is the next one I'm going to talk to you about, is automation. Now, automation, I could really frame it as delegation as well. As technically the same thing. And this is where good, solid, clear systems come into place. James Clear said it perfectly. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So you need to create a system. And automations will generally come in the form of either employees or softwares. For example, email marketing or SMS marketing. Okay, whether that's like pre-sales or lifetime value, this is 10x leverage, but it runs 24/7. It's a once and done thing. Yes, we're iterating. Yes, we're constantly improving it, but there's no human in control of it. The same, for example, for my consumer generated content, it's a flywheel. It's all automated. And basically things that you aren't good at, the things that are time consuming and really not kind of cost effective in terms of your core focus areas, like the operational stuff is generally what comes first. Like I said before, if you're picking and packing, get it out to a 3PL, because you technically can if you're hiring friends and family members to do picking and packing. But what happens when they call in sick? What happens when they decide they want to quit? If you have an outsourced company doing something for you, you're not responsible for their staff. Someone leaves, they hire someone different, okay? Or for example, like customer service, hiring out to someone in the Philippines. This is massive leverage. Customer service for me when I started out was pain in the ass. Like 24/7 again, customers coming through. I needed the sale, so I'd speak to everyone, solving all these problems. Where's my order? What about this question? What about this question? It's all a low value task, taking my time, and it's anchoring me to a specific location. And this is when you know it's time to hire out to strategic contractors who are already better at you at doing things. For example, if ads are taking up all of your time, then it's okay to hire someone to run and manage your ads, but you need to understand the system and what good looks like first. If you want someone to create landing pages for you because they're better designers, they're better copywriters than you. You will know when to do this at the right time. But again, if you do it yourself, unless it's something you genuinely enjoy doing and are very good at, the applied leverage comes by delegating. And generally the delegation is to people who are already 10 steps ahead of you, because it's far easier to double down on your strengths than it is to fix your weaknesses. That's the principle anyway. And this is kind of the key part to being the business owner and not the operator. And there is a difference, okay? Like if you try to do all things, the business will own you. It's impossible not to. Like you might be living in paradise. Let's say you transplant over to Bali. But if you're working 16, 20 hours a day, you don't get to do anything. You don't get to experience anything. What's the point? It doesn't make, you're still trapped. You're still anchored to the screen. It's not good. It's not fun to do. It's not fun to manage. And if it's for like a short burst, okay, fair enough. You've got like an event coming up, Black Friday, whatever. It's okay to lock in. But if you're doing this 24/7, 365, you might as well be in a job, because at least in a job, you have paid holidays. You have someone telling you what to do and how to do it. You have structure. In entrepreneurship, and this is where mindset is so important, you get sucked into everything because the buck stops with you. And you need to be in this leader role, okay? And this is kind of the more strategic parts of the business when you actually start to run and manage it properly. This is where you leverage other people to divorce your income from your time. Remember, you cannot get rich unless you divorce your income from your time, because we all have 24 hours in the day and there's only one of you. It's not scalable. What is scalable is systems, automation, and something even as simple as like a Shopify store. It runs 24/7. So as long as your supply chain is intact, you should have no upper limit on how much you can sell and how much your 3PL can handle in terms of volume. And these are the problems you want to have. You want to have problems of supply. You want to have problems of demand. okay? Not where's my next sale coming from, which is more of a beginner thing, I guess. And that's obviously a problem in and of itself, but this is something to go through. But just remember, as you grow in your business, you have to focus on this because like Tim Ferriss puts it, if you never, obviously it's a good book, but never automate something that can be eliminated and never delegate something that can be automated or streamlined. Because otherwise you end up wasting someone else's time as well as your own. Now you're wasting your cash, which again is not what we want. Like remember, the whole point is to find something you either don't want to do or you hate doing that you're not very good at, and then give it to someone who is very good at it. And ideally they love it because the work, it will show in the work. Remember, don't delegate something you can eliminate, and do not automate anything that can be automated. That can be automated, delegated. Understood? Cool. All right. Next. Now you're free. You have systems, you have automation, you have people doing the work for you, people who are better than you at doing the work for you. This is when it's okay to then move to a different location and actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. Remember, for a lifestyle brand, you do not have to be making 100K a month to do this. Once you understand the principle of geo arbitrage, like you can live like a king somewhere like Thailand or whatever on less than the average worker wage does in the US or the UK or Australia. So it means so long as you're not tied down directly to the business operations in the day-to-day, you have your laptop, you have an internet connection, you are literally officially free to work anywhere. You have your supply chain, laptop, internet connection, you're good. It doesn't matter where you are. The main thing is what you work on. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows and results show. And this comes all the way back down to what is it you're optimizing for? Do you want a 10x? Do you want a 10x? It's lock-in time. If you want to enjoy life, if you want this kind of digital nomad world, also fine. But again, it's up to you. It always starts with the definition at the start. But yeah, this for me is where the 10x gains come. Like it's not just in life quality, but for me, say for example, being in Bali or Dubai, the networking, everything, it's like you do not get this experience inside your hometown. This is why an Ecom brand, specifically a supplement brand, is probably one of the best vehicles to do this. And it is available for you too. I figured it out. Took me 10 years. Doesn't need to take you 10 years. And if you want to build your own fully remote lifestyle supplement brand, I have a free training which walks through everything step by step. Every single question I get from people coming into my ecosystem are the same questions. Where do I start? How do I source? How to differentiate? I've literally detailed it all in a completely free training. It'll either be in the description or it'll be linked here or here, and it's up to you to go and watch it. No excuses. Get to work.